promotions that are happening. Let's talk about these two teams, Rookkill.
Yes.
Last week, Refuse to Die lost to Fnatic. All right, no surprise. Real talk. Does Refuse to Die still have a chance to make it to the playoffs? Yes, they do. If there is one thing you can always count on with Refuse to Die, is they live up to their name. If they win, they rise to 5th place. If they lose, they stay in 6th place and will be relegated, and they have to fight through the relegation to stay in the Gold League. Hammer Time is in a great spot. They're tied for 3rd place with the Cunninghams. Last week, they had no problem whatsoever with River of Blood. Drynitz has said this: before the game started, I told everyone that whatever side our T-32s spawn is the side of the map we are going to play. If he spawned closer to the east side of the map, we would go over the tracks. If he spawned to the west, we would play the 1-3 lines. I like this type of flexible planning. End quote after the 3 lines. It's my quote after I like this type of flexible planning. If they win, Hammer Time wins, they rise to 2nd place. If they lose, they fall to 4th place and will have to fight in the wild cards to still have a chance to make it to the playoffs. And with that, I welcome the 2 team leaders to the face-off. Gentlemen, good evening.
Hey, we're going.
Refuse to Die, let's check in with you first.
All right.
Because of what is at stake, have you prepared differently compared to other weeks for tonight?
I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say we've prepared differently. A lot of the same. I mean, no offense to Hammer Time, but you know, they're just another team that's between us and our goal, our end goal. So come out and actually play our game, play the best that we can, and not make mistakes. And I think it'll be a real good match tonight.
I think so as well. Let's check in with Hammer Time. What is more important for your team, being consistent or being unpredictable, photo finish?
Yeah, I think consistency. Yeah, we want to be like Navi or Simp or Fulcrum. Like, you need to be consistent to be good. Like, unpredictability can only take you so far.
Well, it was unpredictable to see you tonight, photo finish. This is a nice surprise. Good to see you on the face-off. It's been a while.
Hey, thanks.
All right. Do you have any words for your opponents Refuse to Die before we start?
Yeah. You know, probably I can send kittens a bag of catnip to let us through.
I'm sure you enjoy that. Refuse to Die, any words?
I think Photo nailed it on the head. I think whichever team comes out tonight and plays more consistent in line with their full potential is going to be the winner. So best of luck to you guys, and we'll see you out there.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you on the battlefield.
Thanks.
Good luck.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Photo Finish is quite the story. Quite a unique and remarkable individual, originally from Jamaica, now living in Canada. And really cool guy.
Yeah.
Really cool guy.
I liked the trash talk. What was it? He had the spoon in the last finals. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
What did he do with it?
Oh, I forgot. It's something to do with Spoon, but I forgot exactly what
Did
he
he
did.
drop it on the ground or something?
Yeah.
I think that's what he did.
He needs a new one.
Hmm.
Or be able to clean it or something. I'm going to clean you, like I'm going to clean this spoon or something like that.
I don't
It was well
know.
done.
I can't remember.
I'll have to ask Lauren. She was there.
Oh, yeah. She was standing. Yeah.
Let's take a look at the rosters for both these teams. You saw Photo Finish. Take a look at how he's going to perform tonight. Also, NYPD.
Of course.
Side of Hammer Time.
And Valkyrie Velas, of course, as well. For Refuse to Die, I'm also going to be looking for a side from NYPD. I'm going to see if Drynitz, as the captain, can make a solid play in a TA.
Definitely did it on Mines.
Yes.
Or on Cliff last week. Very impressive. What is for the individuals, Rookkill? Let's talk about rules for victory for this series.
All right, rule number 1 is going to be refuse to be abused. Refuse to die. Your opponent, Hammer Time, is exceptional at setting tempo and controlling the map. That needs to be done by you instead. Refuse to Die will need to set the tempo by forcing their opponent to react to them. Make the move first, or make it just ever so slightly before them. Finding positions that force their opponent to shift, react, find anything to do, or make them just uncomfortable. Just making your opponent uncomfortable can generally start setting the tempo. Second is going to be scouting. And thinking it's going to come into play that scouting will be highly important because you need to know what Hammer Time is going to do. That T-32 opening move that we heard about that Hammer Time likes, depending on spawns, well, if you know which way they're going to go based on T-32 spawn, might as well find out, because one way or another, you can't find out which strat they're going to do. They have multiple ones. Third and final is Cliff. The recent changes to Cliff have altered the way everyone's strats are going to work out. The same things aren't really going to be as effective. The same attempts to sit on the backside of the hill and block the entrance to the lighthouse itself, and also on the far west. This throws off your opponent. If you put in more prep work, you will win on Cliff. I hope the maps go to Cliff today so we can see who's done more prep.
We saw some great utilization simp yesterday using that hill on Cliff. So hopefully we'll see the same thing. But the first battle is going to take place on Ruinberg, a map that we have seen many, many times since the WGLNA started. Rukill, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have 3 AMX 5100s, an IS-3, 1390, and 2 T1 Cunninghams. For Hammer Time, who will be spawning the red team in the north, Refuse to Die in the blue. On the south side, we'll have 2 5100s, an IS-3, 2 1390s, a medium 1, and a T1 Cunningham. Still haven't seen the medium 1 do anything exceptional. And I'm waiting to see what it can do.
Opening runs from both teams.
Oh, it's 2 1390 run. With a bag of kittens and Anubis against Zazi, single 1390. This bag of kittens is actually going to go, yes, into the F-road.
Dodges a shot.
Just barely. Anubis decides to break off and head back to the south. A bag of kittens. Where will he head to?
We got some air. That was nice to see over that artillery crater. And he's going to link up with the rest of his team at the fountain.
Interesting opening scout run. I would have thought he'd stop in one of the cubby holes in Echo 5. Or perhaps Foxtrot 5.
That was a little bit of a gamble, but in the end he links up with his team in a standard opening from the southern position. Hammer Time's a bit spread out over in the east. Keeping one of their tier 8s in the Alpha 0 section. Headed back probably to the Alpha 7 village to be able to guard the flag cap in case Refuse to Die is going to press really, really hard this early in the battle, but not the case yet. Refuse to Die is hugging that fountain together as a team.
Yep. And the coverage from Hammer Time is a little bit too much, I think, for Refuse to Die to make a real fast cap. Son of Hail in a strong passive position to watch the southern approach to the cap. Just behind him, Photo Finish is going to be watching the northern approach. He's just now lining up in a solid position. He'll be poking out a little bit. There is a blind spot for Refuse to Die to approach, but that could be covered up very soon by NYPD, who is approaching in his 5100. I think they know what's up.
Before I was taking a look at a bag of kittens position defensively over the flag cap, we'll check in with him again real quickly here. You can see he is prepped and ready for any T1s or perhaps an enemy 1390 to check in at the flag cap to scout at the south and then move up. He can at least get a couple shots of damage, not necessarily a kill, and then fall back, heading into a different direction.
Yeah, just at least to delay that aggression or force it to go away. And after that, though, they would recognize there are 4 tier 8s in the north. Hammer Time, if they only sent a T1 down there, could begin a more aggressive push and overmatch that fast cap, which I do believe is coming.
Kill Panic is blocking for the IS-3. Look at the profile. And now World War II Fanatic is forcibly moving Kill Panic, pushing the tank up front. This is a complete armor shield.
Here it is. This is what I was waiting for. That tank is actually massive. It's big enough to shield an IS-3. And Son of Hail might not be able to see this coming. There's too many bushes in the way. And there are shots being fired. Photo Finish does not have an angle on this. NYPD does not also have an angle on this. There's no setup. They're going to actually be caught by surprise, I think. The fact that this medium 1 will just be turned sideways. He's actually going to be turning it a little bit by trying to push on the far, on the right side there to straighten it out. And you can just see the HE shells exploding on the ground right in front of Son of Hail and Photo Finish. This is a very slow, very, we'll call it interesting.
It's a SWAT tactic.
What tactic?
SWAT tactic. Slow-moving shield.
I don't know if they put people in the shield.
No. You go 2x2 down hallways, or 1x1, depending on the coverage. But Kill Panic, this is quite a strategy from Refuse to Die. Remember in the previous season we saw them that they brought a complete Tiger lineup on
Yes.
Ruinberg?
This new meta, man.
New meta indeed. It's
New-
slow. It's slow moving, but
Medium
the
one.
surprise factor, I'm waiting to see how Hammer Time is going to respond to this.
Have you noticed how every cap fast we've seen so far hasn't been a cap fast, but like just a cap? I feel like we're dropping a term which I love to use. And now we're being forced to, okay, here it goes. Cap is going to be in. Medium one's on cap. Knocks over a tree. We're going to have 5100s gearing up. Photo finish is zooming out, but it's not quite yet have an angle. We've got a return to cap from, it looks like Overlord Prime. Very soon he'll be there, and they'll be able to stop this at least short, but the IS-3 is going to be perfectly hidden. Look at that hull down. Look at that IS-3 hull down. Shots fired.
Shot fired. Kill Panic gone. World War II Fanatic now going to continue to use this tank as a shield. Bounce off the IS-3. Another bounce off that hemispherical turret. And another shot into the medium one, still using it as a shield.
Yep, Overlord Prime backing up.
World War II Fanatic took a shot. Photo finish in NYPD, now engaged in the tanks from further away. And Anubis tries to fire back. Slovenian takes down NYPD. Slovenian still alive. Still in the front, though, taking a lot of hits in the 5100, and he falls.
But here's Drynitz and Zazie moving right behind this. They will be putting themselves in a bit of a crossfire. Drynitz going left, and Anubis and Zazie going right. He is going to be able to destroy World War II Fanatic if he is allowed to, or if he can even pen.
Anubis still trying to block him. Another shot from Zazie. Shot from the rear into the IS-3. Oh, looks like from the top side, it's Drynitz that landed the hit. Anubis still alive. Bag of Kittens now charging into the 1390, ready to clean up. He sees Zazie and Overlord Prime. He sees Overlord first. Does he land a shot on the side?
Bounce.
Fires on the move, and it's a bounce. He's going to focus
One more.
on that IS-3. Oh, into the bottom.
Overlord gets Anubis. Drynitz sitting at full health is going to be able to probably clean this up. Bag of Kittens is going to need to leave, and Zazie has escaped, probably is reloaded by now. I believe he is.
Zazie around the corner, waiting for Bag of Kittens. Bag of Kittens takes on Overlord Prime. Bag of Kittens has got to be out of shots. He's going to ram into Zazie for only 40 damage.
Oh man, Valkyrie Vewas. If he can kill Drynitz, that could actually bring this back. Valkyrie Vewas is at full health, and I believe he may have 1 or 2 more shells left. Drynitz could go down. He has 197 hit points. Zazie at 228. He gets the kill. Zazie is the only one left. He and the cap.
16 seconds, 9 seconds.
He can't stop it.
He can't get there in time.
Valkyrie Vewas is not going to be able to get there.
Hammer Time will be able to take this series with the flag cap. Quite a brawl happening between both teams. That medium one uses a shield.
It was interesting.
It was, but I felt that every time he kept shifting his IS-3, it was pushing the shield further and further up, making a bigger opening for the IS-3 itself.
Yes. However, this was very interesting. You can see how it came into effect. If there had been more coverage maybe from the south out of Refuse to Die, they could have seen something more effective just to force that IS-3 to respect that position more, I think. But in the end, I think the IS-3 was not as effective as it could have been. It was cute. It was certainly an adorable strategy. Bag of Kittens likes to bring those. I mean, we've talked about the Ruinberg one in the past. This time, I get it, but I don't like it.
It went too far. The shield went too far.
Yeah.
I would want it lined up straight with the edge of the building and the IS-3 barely touching the flag cap, but to still put points on the board for the flag.
Yeah.
So you cannot whip around the corner and get the direct shot. You have to shoot from the north. The north is going to be concentrated on hitting the IS-3 to its side flank, and then they're covered by the 5100. But what happened was that traded fire was going in between River of Blood and Hammer Time, and the first one to fall was NYPD that fell first, and then Slovenian fell next, that concentrated fire. And from there, Bag Kittens left his position to go up north to help in the firefight, and that's when Drynitz got behind him.
Yeah.
And that was a big play as well.
I'm actually looking at the post-game damage now. I wanted to see how Valkyrie Velos was able to do, even though he was still alive at the end. He was able to do 2,793 damage, picking up 2 kills as well in his 5,100. By far the top performer for Refuse to Die. On the other side, you actually don't have much competitive damage, just incredible spread. Drynitz hitting 1,000, 1,000 for Overlord, 1,400 photo finish, and 1,600, almost 1,700. I'll round up for you, Zazie. 1,700, 2 kills for him.
1 HP away. So close, so close. Did have 1 bounce and 1 miss. 7 for 9.
That's really good results, though, on a 1390. Often shooting on the move and having low pen and being not as effective against tanks like the IS-3. Not bad.
Yeah. Abby will be the second battle. This is great for for Refuse to Die, since this is their #1 map. They've only lost once. Every other battle they've played on Abby has been a win and a couple draws. So they are in their territory now. Depending on where they spawn as well is going to make a difference. All right, battle number 2 is about to begin. Rookhill, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, I'm looking at 2 AMX 5100s, an IS-3, 2 1390s, a little tractor, and a T1 Cunningham for Hammer Time, who will be spawning on the red team in the south. In the north, the blue team, Refuse to Die, will have 2 5100s, an IS-3, 2 1390s. That medium one's making its way back again, and a T1 Cunningham. Interesting new T1 meta to kind of wrap up our regular season.
Quasar pushing up front in T1. Valkyrie Velos, Anubis and Hired Gun heading to the west. There's Son of Hail you see on the screen.
That little tractor.
That's the Hammer Time spawning to the south.
And he's going to make his way towards the mid. I'll see if he's going to climb up into one of the cubby holes. I think that's what he's going to go for. A little proxy spotting against any tanks that are going to enter the Abbey itself. And just pay attention to the way he's going to be moving. You can use this yourselves in pub battles, and I found it very effective.
Shout out to our sound guy, the Birdman, Tommy Bridwell. He's been secretly rooting for Refuse to Die.
He likes kittens.
Who doesn't? Lineup coming out of Refuse to Die on the Eastern Road, staying together. Yeah, that medium one. The medium one is almost taller than an IS-3. I think it is taller.
It's super tall. It's taller than a 5100, it looks like. If only due to its little hat thing.
For some reason, the medium one reminds me of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
I see. I see, yeah.
It's the roundness.
It looks so bloated.
Yeah. It's a very, very big tank.
Maybe it's roomy inside.
Good size for a T1.
Small kitchen, a kettle. You know, the good stuff.
Continual press coming from Refuse to Die on the road. And in the center, let's check out where Slovenian and Bag of Kittens are. Slovenian, center of the Abbey. Bag of Kittens, same.
Oh, he actually made it into the Abbey.
1390s are scouting half the map at least.
Nice undetected entrance. And with that Son of Hail, and the little tractor will not know he is actually there. Well, I don't expect yet. He could find Slovenian if he pays enough attention, or if he finds the right angle. There's a very small little spot where I think that little tractor possibly get the height. No, he's not tall enough. If it were a medium one, I think he could possibly get right into one of these little back positions or up on the hill and spot just over the rock. Oh, now he's going to spot Kitten. No, never mind. I was wrong. Excuse me. I thought Kittens was coming closer due to his icon, but I was wrong.
No, he's going for the north.
Yep.
Probably going for the western road, or eastern road, rather. The western position in the north is completely abandoned by Refuse to Die. So if Hammer Time felt a little bit crazy and they pushed, and have no one to stop him. Kittens is going really far north. He's going to be climbing to the mountainside. And this is the same type of defensive play coming out of a Bag of Kittens. Also allows him to maybe listen to his teammates and tell them when and where to push, even though his vision is not as good.
Yeah.
With his position as 1390.
Good workout. We've got Zazie and NYPD in the meantime for Hammer Time, moving away from that western high ground and moving into the Abbey area. NYPD, Zazie, having crossed the water, will possibly be able to take up a position in the Abbey to kind of overwatch their own cap. I think they know Refuse to Die's potential to make a cap fast, and because of that, they're going to do something in the likes of... I mean, maybe they're just taking a little bit of flavor from what we saw Simple Tankers do on this map.
It's quite possible. NYPD takes a hit.
That's Slovenian.
It's going to measure out some damage towards Hammer Time. Also could make Hammer Time overcommit possibly to the center to get Slovenian.
Now NYPD is actually going to back off entirely, deciding that he doesn't want the Abbey anymore. And behind him, Zazie is actually going to stay alone, which is very strange. Oh, he's just covering his battle buddy until he leaves. NYPD forgets. Guys, there's a rock there. You can't tell until you get close because the trees, darn those trees. There's a rock blocking that exit. Would be nice to have, though, especially from that side of the map. But now NYPD is going to be able to pull out. Hired gun goes down. T1. Dead.
First death to happen, man. Hired gun. First death to happen. At medium 1. Well, it's going to be a shield. World War II Fnatic's going to play the same game here for a little bit. Trying to get a better angle to line it up on the IS-3s. He's going to push towards the flag cap, possibly. Quasar could land right behind him. Quasar might try to push. Can't really get it.
Are they going to push Quasar on the medium 1?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
This is what they should have done last time. Put the T1 behind the medium 1 and then push it all the way to cap. Refuse to Die has lost their minds. This new meta is just amazing.
Well, it's going to be slow. It's going to be slow going. But World War II Fnatic fires behind the shield at Kriegs.
And Kriegs is forced to back down.
Look at that. Would you be scared if you saw this tank?
I would be
pushing
confused.
2 tanks towards you like this? I'd be scared.
I'd be confused.
It's the lawnmower man strategy. World War II Fnatic continues to push. Quasar right next to him.
Good. Okay, production just said something to me. Novak just said this is straight out of Ender's Game. And it took me a second, but I got it. You've seen the movie at least, right?
Nope. Have not read the book or seen the movie.
Okay, so it's much like this. They actually make a ball of people.
So similar type strategy.
And they get stunned in this little game. And they just kind of get them all stunned, and right behind them all is Ender.
Oh, wow. World War II Fnatic gets hit to the side.
So World War II Fnatic, or maybe Quasar, is Ender in this situation.
I see.
And they're using the stunned / dead little medium 1 as their classmates.
This is a slow pace, but a very big buildup happening for Refuse to Die, because they could set themselves in some great positions to guard World War II Fnatic and Quasar. Now he can stop. Kriegs is seen up top. World War II Fnatic looks towards him.
Overlord Prime is moving up, looking to try and do something, but he just realizes there's a dead medium 1 here. What am I going to do?
He fires into the medium 1. Can't get another shot. 20 seconds left.
Amazing. This is just mind-blowing. Valkyrie Vewas is going to be in a position to kind of pinch Overlord Prime, maybe put some pressure on him, and force him to be less aggressive. But if he keeps hitting dirt like that, when missing, might not happen.
Stay where you are, Fnatic.
No, World War II Fnatic. He might not be able to keep the cap.
Don't push.
HE!
Going
he fired HE!
Going for the hit. Another shot from long range. Quasar damage from the hit, but does not fall. World War II Fnatic fires back. Refuse to Die. Oh, HE.
HE new meta. What am I seeing here right now? He used HE to bounce off World War II Fnatic and hit the T1, splash him, and get the kill. It stops the cap. Hammer Time has every opportunity now to win. Right below the Abbey, they've dealt a little damage, and they've got control.
2 minutes left. In 2 minutes, they're going to have to destroy all the tanks for Refuse to Die. I don't think that's possible. Refuse to Die is going to book their 1390s, a flight out of there. In the center, there goes the IS-3.
There's a potential for a fight in the mid in the meantime. Refuse to Die could have Kittens and Slovenian take on Zazie and NYPD. Possibly. as Bag of Kittens does move out. Zazie is a little low on shells, but a Bag of Kittens and Zazie both trade and miss. Bag of Kittens follows up with a connection now.
Zazie falls back, so does Bag of Kittens. Where's his battle buddy? Slovenian. Let's check in with him. Where's his location?
Just waiting for the perfect moment to strike, as NYPD is very low on hit points. And because of that, cannot do any real engagements, cannot risk any of his hit points. He can only take perhaps 2 shells from a 1390.
Not enough time for the engagement to continue. This will end in a draw, but what matters now in this 1 minute and 3 seconds is doing more damage in case it goes to a tiebreaker, and that's what both teams need to focus on. They may not get the win, but if it does go to a tiebreaker, they want to have the choice of either they want to have the choice of either attacking or defending. They want to choose to defend. In order to get the first choice, you have to do more damage in the series.
Oh man, I don't think they're going to be able to deal any more damage. Refuse to Die has to back off. They can't afford to lose any more tanks, but they will do a nice job of regrouping, perhaps looking for some shots here and there, but Hammer Time has definitely won this battle as far as damage goes. NYPD's taken a decent amount. Overlord Prime and Zazie, along with Photo Finish, have taken some hits, but you've got 2 dead T1s and a dead IS-3 for Refuse.
18 seconds left. NYPD from far away heading towards the north, towards the flag cap. Won't see any tanks there. Bag of Kittens. Does he spot him?
Don't think so. Oh,
he fires.
He does. NYPD just driving around, doesn't even realize.
2, 1, and draw between Hammer Time and River of Blood in battle number 2. Well, I liked it. I liked the Ender's Game type strategy, as you mentioned, but when Overlord Prime was coming around the corner close to the rock, there was a number of shots that missed, and then he's starting to use HE.
Yes. HE meta, guys. It always does damage. And look at this shot. This is going to be Overlord Prime recognizing it's HE time. There's a tank hidden behind another tank, and a tank hidden behind that tank. And because of that, let's fire HE. Just stop the cap. All you have to do is at least 1 point of damage or crit some tracks, and you reset it. I'm actually surprised a little bit that he brought HE shells, but he must have known, well, there's the possibility that someone gets on cap, they're hidden behind a tank, it's almost impossible to try and make a real AP shell, might as well load HE. I guess players learned that back when we had the shootout.
Mm-hmm. And it does damage. I think with HE, my personal experience of playing the game, of when you and I would talk about where to use this type of shell, it's usually the flag cap when you have to do damage. And I went, okay, cool. And I tried to use it and it wouldn't pen. I'm going, oh, why? Why would I use this instead of my AP or APCR rounds or even my heat shells? But this is a prime example, a really, really good example of when to use it. And that splash damage, too, because it didn't destroy the T1, but because it did damage, it stopped the cap with a little bit less than 20 seconds left, and that was paramount for Overlord Prime to do that.
Precisely. If he had not made those connections, we might have seen a cap. We very well could have if he were firing AP or APCR. Mm-hmm. He might have had to just leave cover, go out into the open, and try and make those connections by getting on the side. He would have maybe died for it. And because of that, maybe not even gotten the T1 kill or the IS-3 kill and just kind of reset for a little while.
I wonder if his placement could have been better by moving his IS-3 to the left and still having the medium one block his right flank and the T1 huddled behind in a triangle pattern behind the IS-3. That's hindsight 2020.
Maybe, but HE still would have done it.
Overlord Prime was more of a danger compared to the tanks further to the right. World War II Fnatic had moved his turret to the right to try to shoot back, but that's where the rest of his team should have pounced. Anyways, that's what happened on Abbey. Still a draw. Battle number 3 will take place. Refuse to Die versus Hammer Time. What do we have for tanks?
All right, we've got 3 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams for Hammer Time in the south. Refuse to Die, the blue team in the north, will have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams. Now, look at this opening move. We've got blind fire from Overlord Prime and Photo Finish right down the middle. They're looking for a connection. Do they get anything?
No.
No
shots fired in this mirror matchup between both teams.
Creeks will actually go to the very center. What I'd call an outdated move from Creeks in the T1. This is a place where T1s generally would go to die. However, due to the changes in opening moves for most teams, that's going to mean Creeks is going to live because there are no IS-3s watching the middle for the side of Refuse to Die to keep him at bay. Now he's going to cross into the enemy territory, the D line, and he may 1v1 hired gun in just a moment.
This information is huge for Kriegs and Hammer Time right now. Since he's not spotting any of the tanks around this corner on Delta 3, it means more tanks will be on the hill.
It could mean they're in the northwest. He does not know if anything is in the west yet. He has had no verification of that. So if he gets just a minute more, they will verify that hill play. He just has to see it, and he doesn't see anything. If that's limited information, that there isn't anything on the west, but I think that's sure enough, and Hammer Time is sure enough. Overlord Prime and Drynitz moving out all the way up the 3 line. A lane that is generally considered not the best place to push, by the way.
Yep.
They're going to take it. Down the 8 line, down the banana. Photo finish.
Hired gun is in the sights. A photo finish.
Oh.
He falls. And Hammer Time's going to go for the flag cap. This will make Refuse to Die vulnerable, and they will split. 3 of their tier 8s will head down the road on the side of Hammer Time to swing around for a possible long-range flank with the better sniper fire tanks, while the IS-3s will move back in the northern section and trade blows to guard their flag cap.
An interesting
Overmatch
situation.
can completely happen against these IS-3s
Okay,
if
Drynitz.
they reveal themselves too much.
Drynitz could go back. There's 5100. They have to find Quasar.
Well, Refuse to Die is going to jump on the flag cap first with their 3 5100s.
Any reset at all will do it. And Refuse to Die will be able to win. They just have to get 1 reset on these 2 T1s. That's it.
I like this commitment coming from Refuse to Die, drawing the line in the sand, saying, you come to us and you fight here. World War II Fnatic and Valkyrie VOS, they have got to clutch this.
Although there is a strong move from Zazie, NYPD, and Photo Finish. The 3 of them just moving out saying, no, you cannot move onto this cap. 3 seconds left, 2, 1.
And base has been captured for Refuse to Die, still waiting for that window to finish up. Couple more seconds.
Wait for it.
It is over. It is over. Refuse to Die gets the win. I like this commitment coming from this team. You know, when you don't spot any tanks on the hill, usually teams will go, oh, let's just all fall back and reset. Refuse to Die, split their forces. IS-3s, you go to our flag cap. 5100s, you get the win. Or you're not coming home. That's what Barrigan said to him.
One way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a risky play. If Hammer Time had been a little bit ahead, if they had just moved a few seconds earlier here and there, they would have had the win. Or they at least would have been able to draw it out. Also, if they would have brought any one tank back to cap to make a reset happen, that's an entirely different situation. Hammer Time went all in. They did not respect Refuse to Die's ability to counter cap and expected them to bring every single one of their tanks back, which I think was the mistake in that battle for Hammer Time. Of course, you've already pointed out the well played by Refuse to Die.
Kansas called a timeout. Ensk will be battle number 4 in this tied-up series, 1-1 with 1 draw between them. Abby proves again to be the map for Refuse to Die. They had a crazy type play using the medium 1, but it changed the pace of the entire match. And now, after that long engagement in the draw, they go for a fast-moving type tactic, catches Hammer Time off guard because their mentality is, we don't spot any of the tanks, let's move all together as one team, overmatch them. IS-3s are able to lock down those shots.
This seems like a cap-heavy series. First battle, Ruinberg, cap. Abby, could have been a cap. And then this last one.
Yeah.
Again, a cap. Why are people capping so much?
I think they would rather have that trigger rather than poking out at the wrong time in a city, or trying to overmatch on Prohorovka and it goes wrong, or relying on the heat mechanics of the T-69s against T-32s and it falling apart.
Well, we don't know about that yet. That could still make a showing.
Yeah, it could. It could. I think it comes down to mentality, style, or all sorts of things you can chalk up why they're choosing these things. But to me, this is also connected to how well C'est La Vie was able to get these flag caps against a team like Simp. Is they would stick to the brawl for only so long as a decoy and then go for the win that they had more control over. They could not win standing toe-to-toe with these teams that were better brawlers, that had better accuracy, that had better knowledge of where to hit tanks. But they could win if they played for the flag caps.
It is an important objective, though. Tactically, most teams ignore that and play weaker on their defenses of the fast cap. And that is something that teams need to learn how to do a little bit better. We saw Simp evolve a little bit in their defenses of fast caps. It looks like Hammer Time is starting to catch on how to defend against a fast cap. It's, of course, the last one may contradict that statement.
Yeah.
Abby.
Anything is possible for these two teams now since it is a tied-up series. But Refuse to Die, they're going to have a couple more cards up their sleeve to play in this series because Hammer Time, they want to make it to the playoffs. Rukel, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, 2 T1 Cunninghams for Hammer Time, who will be spawning in the north. The south, blue team, Refuse to Die. We'll have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams. And now, the opening moves from either team, we will see Hammer Time moving to the east, and in the south, Refuse to Die looks to be taking up the western city portions. Their T1s leading the way, while Hammer Time gets themselves set up to defend from the east. All 3 5100s, and Drynet, Zazie, and NYPD taking the far north, and the IS-3s. Overlord Prime and Photo Finish are actually going to be looking down the middle lane and blind firing a little bit here and there.
Well, Refuse to Die and the Blues spawn to the south. They will head into the western section of the city. They're going to stay in a block pattern in the Gulf Hotel District on the 4-5 line as the T1s are popping closer and closer to the north to scout Quasar, hoping for a 50-meter proxy scout here, but no tanks yet. And that could allow Refuse to Die to continue to push up north. One-line push would be perfect for them at this moment, but they don't have that type of information to make that decision yet.
But what happens after the one-line push? That's the difficult part, because you have an opponent who is set up rather well to deflect any kind of Western aggression. Photo Finish and Overlord Prime, while not being in the greatest positions supported by the 5100 Zazie, Drynets, and NYPD, are going to be able to shift and then be able to deflect that aggression. Refuse to Die would not have any true advantages, I think, if they made the one-line push.
Here's a leapfrog coming from Refuse to Die. World War II Fnatic and a bag of kittens will pop up closer to their T1 scouts. If World War II Fnatic puts himself up top, doesn't see anything to scout yet. Bag of kittens covers him. Still the 3 amigos of Anubis and Slovenian, along with Valkyrie Vuas, are hanging back in the city district.
Make
No
it sound
tank
like
spotted yet, but here's a push coming from Hammer Time.
yes, and that will be Overlord Prime, Overlord Prime, Photo Finish, Creeks. Oh, Quasar is going to go down in the T1 after backing out of his cover. He does get some spotting for that though, and now it will allow Refuse to Die to possibly do that split cap with or flank. It depends on what they'll do. I see 2 tanks moving out in the north. In the south, it does appear as though we've got Valkyrie Vewas, Anubis, and Slovenian actually holding their positions.
Hired Gun will move first for Refuse to Die to get closer to the flag cap. He'll swing around to the debris. Bag of Kittens could move in along with him after he's already checked out. If there's any Hammer Time defensive tank positions in order to get on the flag cap as well, hopefully pulling some tanks. Refuse to Die waiting. Hammer Time not fully committing yet. Now one of the tier 8s is heading back to the north. Zazie
Yes.
and NYPD further back.
Yep. Zazie might be able to see Hired Gun. I'm not sure if he was able to see him cross into building cover. He's looking in that direction at the very least. Bag of Kittens is going to keep that battle buddy safe, but it looks like Hammer Time's going to actually give some ground. I'm seeing 5100's Drynets and NYPD actually holding back. And there's a nice shot. I did not realize that angle existed. Valkyrie Vewa is taking a hit from NYPD in the high ground, all the way in the east, shooting just above all of the trains and every single one of the buildings.
Valkyrie still peeking through that keyhole, falls back a little bit,
Gotta see this position.
and pushes up.
Wow, that is amazing. You can see the keyhole.
Boom! Another shot for 417. Hammer Time enjoying the amount of damage they've dealt against Refuse to Die so far. Is a bit in the lead when it comes to hit point value.
Ever so slightly. Not a...
Bag of Kittens Still hanging back. Not a full-on commitment yet from Refuse to Die in the north. And now another Tier 8's joining him. Slovenian still moving through the city blocks. Bagkitten's still slowly creeping towards that flag cap. Here's Slovenian from behind.
That'll make an overmatch in the south for Refuse to Die. Hammer Time has the overmatch in the north. With Dryness coming back to join Zazie and NYPD, if Refuse to Die decides to push for the cap, they will lose. At least that part. And then in the south, those two IS-3s, they could do some work. And now here's the push. NYPD leads the way. They're going to go find the split off tanks from Refuse to Die. And NYPD might come around the corner and find him very soon. Destroys the cover. Bag of Kittens, I think, smells what's up and is going to begin backing off. But Valkyrie Veus has taken a lot of damage, and with that he won't be able to support very well in the south. Their ability to make a counter push against the two IS-3s in the south will not work very well against this 35100 push in the north, which should very easily destroy Bag of Kittens. And here it begins.
Bag of Kittens holds out. One shot and a miss. Zazie turns the corner. NYPD will poke around. But Zazie gets lit up twice, 3 times. Bag of Kittens first to fall. He's on fire. He goes down. NYPD. It's the last one to hit. Slovenian gets rocked for 613. Falls back behind the buildings. And the turnaround for Hammer Time to the south is to put one tank on the flag cap and then send 2 more to increase the pressure. NYPD lands another hit against Slovenian. Zazie turns the corner. Miss from NYPD. Another miss from Zazie. Shot on the move. Slovenian able to dodge another one. But can't escape the last one down.
But Anubis.
Sliver of health.
Anubis has found Dryness, and they've traded out. Now Anubis can maybe take down NYPD and maybe even Zazie.
Overlord Prime. One shot takes down Valkyrie Veus. 2 left alive for Refuse to Die. Anubis moving in to help his battle buddy. But the overmatch of Hammer Time is undeniable. With 3 minutes and 33 seconds left on the battle clock, 9 seconds left for a flag cap, Hammer Time will be able to close this battle out and continue in the match up by 1 point in a 2-1 series. And it's best of 5. Anubis hit to the side for 386. 1 more second left. Anubis tries to get to the flag cap. Does not make it in time. Base is captured and Hammer Time gets the win.
All right, there was a lot going on in that battle. You had in the north this amazing... Actually, the battle's still going a little bit.
It is. We're waiting for the tanks.
Yeah, I just want to see... Oh, Anubis is actually going to go down.
Now he goes down.
Cap and kill.
Because of the amount of damage still happening and tanks still falling,
Yep.
The game's prolonged a little bit, but that base has been captured. And there was not enough damage or time to take out all of Hammer Time to get the win.
Unfortunate. Overlord Prime did a disgusting job in his IS-3 that battle. Really great. 2,499.
You can round up.
Yeah, I'll round up for him too. But the strategy from Hammer Time, they executed so much control. First, they recognized their opponent's likely positions. They didn't even get a lot of spotting, but they knew that there were tanks in the north. They knew that there was something up there, at least a T1. They recognized Refuse to Die's pattern of splitting apart, going for a cap, and simultaneously starting a fight. That is a great way to do it. That's a great way to win. Unfortunately, when your opponent notices this, they can also split and try and hold in one area and overmatch in the other. That is what we saw with 35100s. Bag of Kittens didn't stand a chance. There was nothing he could do. Then you had another 5100 fall. Good response from Refuse to Die. I did like that. They tried to send Anubis back, and he was able to get some damage, get 1 kill there, but not enough. He was not there quick enough. There was not a big enough overmatch. I think all of Refuse to Die should have left the south and gone to the north very quickly, then turned around and tried to get it. Or at least an overmatch go to the north.
Yeah, well, once that 5100 was completely shut down for Bag of Kittens, he shot the head off, the rest falls.
Yeah.
And that was the unfortunate part about it. Looking back as well, I think they hesitated too long to get on the flag cap and to dictate Hammer Time coming back, and then the south swinging in from the railroad tracks, landing a couple hits from the tanks that were fleeing, maybe sending one of those IS-3s past the keyhole and getting closer to the railroad tracks to be able to scout that. I mean, it's more of surrounding the opponent while they're coming up north instead of waiting, and then they left their position and surrounded Bag of Kittens.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough, though, because the 5100 is so vulnerable, especially for any tanks that are on the east side. that you have no idea they're there because you sent none of your tier 1s or the one T1 they had got destroyed over on the east to be able to scout that.
Yeah.
And that's the one crazy factor that you have to always remember. Like, well, yeah, I mean, they're next to the railroad tracks. No, they're further east. And the further south they could be is a lumber yard. But they can move back very, very quickly to the north. And they can have a straight shot past that debris to hit that 5100 or that T1 hiding behind it. We are now in battle number 5. Refuse to Die has to win to take it to a tiebreaker. If they do not win this battle, it is game over. Hammer Time gets the win. Real kill. What do we have for tanks?
For tanks, 5100 IS-3, 2 T-69s, 1390, and 2 T-1 Cunninghams. For Hammer Time, in the red, who will spawn to the north. Refuse to Die, 2 T-69s, 3 1390s, and 2 T-1 Cunninghams will spawn to the south. They are the blue team.
All right.
For the opening move, we've got Zazie moving out in his 1390. Pay attention, by the way, everyone, to the new layout of Cliff. We've got a few changes here and there, especially in the roads.
Let's take a look at World War II Fanatic, actually, because you'll see these roads right there. There's a clear road that you can pop up on, not having to climb those mountains. And Bag of Kittens actually got stuck in this area, not physically with his tank, but they found him. He wasn't totally up on the cliff. They moved down and got the kill.
That's old Cliff. This is new Cliff.
Valkyrie US able to dodge one shot from Overlord Prime and NYPD, but Bag of Kittens and World War II Fanatic
what
are
a
ready
move.
to line some awesome shots into Overlord Prime. Another double volley. Overlord Prime fights back, and they don't get the kill, but NYPD is low as well, and he falls. Refuse to Die is up in tier points.
What a flank. Slovenia and Valkyrie Vewas in a perfect position. Bag of Kittens, World War II Fanatic, and Anubis get on the high ground, and now Zazie is caught out, and they should be able to finish him off. A nice ram, a little bit of damage there, and finally Anubis gets the kill. NYPD will climb, attempting to get position. However, World War II Fanatic should be able to escape.
Rukil, if this goes to a tiebreaker, this throws a giant wrench into what's happening in the division at the end of the night tonight. Anubis still alive as World War II Fanatic fell to some fire from Photo Finish and NYPD. Hired gun who charges through next to the haystacks, and he goes down.
Why would you do that?
Well, he maybe thought he could go for the flag cap, and he realized there's a lot of tanks there.
Now Photo Finish going up against Bag of Kittens, who is firing down at Creeks. Oh, a miss from Photo Finish. And Bag of Kittens has a lot of choices to make. That is the wrong choice, Bag of Kittens.
Photo Finish! Goomba! Got some!
What was that, Kittens? That was a victory waiting to happen. And I'm watching now one by one as tanks from Hammer Time are being able to take down tanks from Refuse to Die. Drynitz takes down Valkyrie Venos. Slovenian takes him back. But it's Photo Finish NYPD versus Slovenian.
Slovenian has to kill 2 tier 8s. One of them an IS-3, the other NYPD in a T-69 in order to have a chance. Quasar rounding the Lighthouse Hill.
No. NYPD has found Slovenian on the high ground. 1 shell. 2. He gets the kill.
Bag of Kittens slides off the side of the hill. His team had an HP value advantage. They're waiting for the reloads, and they start getting knocked back and forth.
They fell apart.
And Cliff is not their map.
It looked like it there for a second. That was beautiful. That was perfect. Hammer Time walked straight into a trap. But now, we've got Quasar. And look at this replay. Bag of Kittens just barely misjudges it. And he could have taken on the IS-3. But then he just falls off. I don't know why he did that. Battle's still going on, by the way. T1. Quasar running away as far as he can. NYPD is hunting for a T1. And the cap begins. We've got 2 tanks. Photo Finish. Creeks on the cap. It's going to be a good 45 seconds.
That was Photo Finish that did the Goomba, correct?
Yes. In the IS-3. Slides right up and over him. No problems.
20 seconds left for the flag cap. Hammer Time will seal the deal against Refuse to Die.
That was just waiting to tie up. It was waiting for it. Hammer Time had lost this, by all means.
Yeah.
But they've managed to take it back by little things here and there, mistakes by Refuse to Die. Their opponent did not keep it together.
5 more seconds. Quasar, nothing he can do in the T1.
NYPD should find Quasar shortly. Barely avoiding him, actually.
And that
Oh, there, he sees him now.
is game. Hammer Time able to take the series in a huge surprise, actually. Ryukill, we both were expecting that this was going to go to a tiebreaker because of the behavior, the trap that was set.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. I mean, the Goomba was huge, but was it breaking? They were reloading, so they were taking damage, and they were trying to fall back here and there. But look at this amazing trap set by Refuse to Die.
Yes, you had this high ground 1390 situation where your opponent Hammer Time had seen these, but they had not seen the tanks below, Valkyrie Veiwaz and Slovenian. Because of those tanks, you had a perfect crossfire. Your opponents could not split their fire appropriately. Your opponent in the high ground 1390s, they don't have the greatest firepower, but they have the autoloaders. They're going to deal enough damage over a period of time. And you must respect the other tanks right behind that. That is Slovenian and the T-69, Valkyrie Veiwaz and the T-69. You were going to lose tanks as Hammer Time, and you should have probably lost more. But Refuse to Die was unwilling, I think, to dedicate as much tanks to that fight as they could have. The 1390s could have played a little bit more aggressively. The one taking fire leaves. The ones not just stay there and keep shooting the bad men.
Well, it's the mentality, too, of, look, guys, we did so much damage. Everybody reload. We got this in the bag. We got this. And then one person's taking a little bit too much damage. Then this person has to reset. And Hammer Time keeps coming for him, keeps coming for him, keeps coming for him. And they start breaking apart. And to me, it's in that tough kind of rubber band zone where it's a window of opportunity for the opposing force to get a lot of damage back after they took a lot of damage in that opening trap.
Yeah.
But from there, this is what separates Hammer Time from Refuse to Die.
Yes, it's that follow-up. Because you could have seen Refuse to Die just leave. Their 1390s could have just left. And with that, regrouped, identified their enemies' positions, and then cleaned it up.
Yeah. Well, Refuse to Die, unfortunately, was unable to get the win. Didn't take Hammer Time to a tiebreaker, which would have really changed up a lot of the predictions of what was going to happen in the actual division. So now Hammer Time gets a win and puts them closer into, I think this is a guaranteed playoff for them now.
This is. They are now at 13 points in the league. If the Cunninghams win
Then
later tonight,
they'll be tied up
they'll
with
be
the
tied.
Cunninghams.
Yes.
And they'll have to play a tiebreaker for third place. And that'll determine who will be in fourth place. The fourth place player will play the fifth team that is in the Alpha Division. But to verify who's in fourth or fifth place, Fun Gaming and #RU have to play each other, correct?
Yes.
In the Alpha Division.
It's craziness.
That's what's going to take place tomorrow. Tomorrow. We still have to get through the rest of the matches tonight. 2 more. First off, it's going to be Fnatic versus Bernal Empires. And the final match of the night tonight
Cunninghams
will be the Cunninghams versus River of Blood. So we'll have the next matchup of Fnatic versus Bernal Empires after this. Don't go anywhere.